Researchers who first visited Japanese homes in the 1970s kept writing the same word in their notes. Not poor, not sparse, not minimalist in the trendy sense. Rooms with almost nothing in them. Surfaces with nothing on them. Closets that closed completely. And the families living in these homes weren't stressed about it. They weren't decluttering on weekends. They weren't reading books about tidying up. They weren't hiring organizers. The homes just stayed that way. Here's what those researchers got wrong. They assumed the secret was what Japanese people threw away. It wasn't. The secret was something that happened long before anything entered the home in the first place. In North America and across much of Europe, we have a clutter problem most of us have quietly accepted as normal. Garages that can't fit cars, junk drawers in every room, storage units, an entire industry built around holding the things we own but don't use. The United States has roughly 50,000 self-storage facilities. That's more than the number of McDonald's and Starbucks locations combined. We buy, we store, we feel guilty, we purge, and then we slowly fill the space back up again. Japan takes a fundamentally different approach, not through a cleaning method, but through a philosophy about what objects actually cost you and what a home is genuinely for. That different way of thinking begins with a concept the Japanese call ma. Ma is written with a character that combines the symbols for gate and sun. It translates roughly as negative space or meaningful emptiness. In Western design, empty space is often seen as a problem to solve. A bare wall needs art. An empty shelf needs objects. A clear counter needs something on it. In Japan, the empty space is the design. Ma is the idea that emptiness has value, that the space between things is just as important as the things themselves, that a room with breathing room functions better, feels better, and costs less mental energy to exist in. This isn't abstract philosophy, it shows up in practical, daily decisions. When a Japanese household considers bringing something new into the home, the first question isn't, do I like this? It's, what will this cost the space? Not the money, the space. In Western homes, we tend to ask, do I want this? Can I afford it? Where will I put it? In Japan, the question is closer to, does this earn its place? That single shift in framing changes everything about how objects accumulate, or don't. Every object enters the home only after earning its place. And that standard, applied consistently, means most objects never enter at all. There's a second idea that shapes how many Japanese families relate to their belongings. And it's one that Western culture has almost no equivalent for. It's the quiet awareness that everything is temporary. Seasons change, cherry blossoms fall, objects wear out, go out of style, or simply stop serving you. In Japan, this isn't a depressing idea. It's a liberating one. Because if objects are temporary by nature, then holding on to them past their usefulness isn't loyalty. It's resistance to something natural. Picture this. A family in Japan has a set of kitchen knives that have been used daily for 12 years. The handles are worn smooth. The blades have been sharpened down. They've done their job. Thousands of meals, thousands of mornings. Rather than keeping them in a drawer alongside newer knives, taking up space and never quite getting used, the family thanks them for their service and replaces them. The old knives leave. The new ones take their place. The drawer stays the same size it always was. That's not a dramatic moment. It's just Tuesday. The object leaves before the drawer becomes crowded. That's how clutter is prevented years before it ever becomes visible. In North America and Europe, we tend to hold on to objects for very different reasons. We keep things because they were expensive, because we might need them someday, because getting rid of them feels like admitting a mistake, because they were gifts and throwing them out feels disrespectful. This Japanese perspective gently reframes all of that. An object that served you well and is now done serving you has completed its purpose. Releasing it isn't wasteful, it's appropriate. This is why many homes in Japan don't accumulate the same way Western homes do. It's not that people buy less, though they often do. It's that there's a cultural framework that makes letting go feel natural rather than... If you're finding these Japanese perspectives useful, go ahead and subscribe. Every week on this channel, we break down practical Japanese habits that can help you live with less stress, more clarity, and a home that actually works for you. Now, let's keep going. Here's where Japanese philosophy becomes Japanese architecture. Every traditional Japanese home, and the vast majority of modern ones, has a feature called the genkan. It's a small entryway, slightly sunken below the level of the main floor, where you remove your shoes before stepping inside. This isn't just a hygiene habit, though it does keep floors dramatically cleaner. The genkan is a psychological threshold. The moment you step out of your shoes and up into the home, you are physically crossing from the outside world into a protected space. The transition is built into the structure of the house itself. In Western homes, the front door opens directly onto the living space. Whatever energy, stress, or chaos you carried in from outside comes straight in with you. There's no pause, no transition, no moment of separation. The genkan creates that moment automatically. And here's what's interesting from a clutter perspective. The genkan also acts as a filter. Because you pause at the entrance, you make a small, unconscious decision about what comes in. Bags get set down, items get sorted. Things that don't belong inside stay outside. It's a physical habit that prevents clutter from entering in the first place rather than dealing with it after it's already spread through the home. You don't need to renovate your entryway to apply this principle. A simple mat, a shoe rack, and the habit of pausing at the door before entering can create the same psychological effect. Picture two homes on the same street, same neighborhood, similar incomes, similar square footage. Both families have lived there for roughly the same number of years. You walk into the first home, the living room has clear surfaces, the shelves hold a small number of objects, each with obvious purpose. The closets close completely. The kitchen counter has a coffee maker, a kettle, and nothing else. The garage has a car in it. Then you walk into the second home. Same layout, same size, but the surfaces are stacked. The closets are wedged shut. There are boxes in the hallway that have clearly been there for years. The garage holds everything except a car. The difference isn't income, it isn't space, it isn't even how long each family has lived there. The first family has maintained a simple set of household habits: the genkan pause, the one-in, one-out principle, the understanding that objects have a natural lifespan. The second family operates on the Western default. Things come in freely, things leave only during a crisis, same street, completely different relationship with objects, and completely different homes to live in every single day. Here's the mistake that almost everyone makes when they try to declutter. They treat it as a one-time event, a big weekend purge, a donation run, a reorganization project, and it feels incredible for about 3 weeks. Then the space fills back up and the cycle starts again. The reason this keeps happening is that the purge addresses the symptom, not the system. Many Japanese families don't stay uncluttered because they're better at throwing things away. They stay uncluttered because the inflow is managed differently. The Japanese approach to the home treats each object as a conscious decision. Not obsessively, not anxiously, just consciously. In Western consumer culture, the default is accumulation. Things come in constantly: impulse purchases, gifts, free items, things bought on sale just in case. The home becomes a holding facility for decisions that were never fully made. The Japanese approach flips the default. The home is protected space. Entry requires justification. That's not about being rigid or joyless. It's about recognizing that every object in your home costs you something: attention, maintenance, mental energy, whether you use it or not. Here's a number that puts this in perspective. The average American home is estimated to contain approximately 300,000 individual items. 300,000. From paper clips to furniture. From expired coupons in kitchen drawers to boxes in attics that haven't been opened since the last move. Homes in Japan generally contain significantly fewer possessions. Not primarily because of smaller square footage, but because the system governing what enters is fundamentally different. Which brings us to the most practical habit in this entire video. Revised. Surprise cultural observation added before Marie Kondo callback per optional recommendation. Long before Marie Kondo became a global phenomenon, many families in Japan practiced a philosophy called Danshari. The word is made of 3 characters: refuse, dispose, separate. Together they describe a three-part relationship with objects. Refuse what you don't need, dispose of what no longer serves you, and separate yourself from attachment to things. Notice the order. Refuse comes first. Danshari isn't primarily a decluttering method, it's a decision-making framework that starts at the point of acquisition, not the point of disposal. Picture this. You're in a home goods store. You pick up a coffee mug. It's a nice one, good weight, interesting design. You're about to put it in your basket. A Danshari-influenced mindset pauses for just a moment and asks three questions. Where will this live in my home? Do I actually need another mug, or do I just like this one? If this comes in, what leaves? That last question is the one-in, one-out principle, and it's the most practical tool in this entire video. It doesn't require a personality overhaul, it doesn't require a weekend project. It just requires a moment of honesty at the point of decision. One thing comes in, one thing leaves. Over months and years, that single habit fundamentally changes the density of objects in a home. Here's something worth pausing on. In Japan, when someone visits your home for the first time, a common compliment isn't, "I love your decorations," or "You have such nice things." It's closer to, "Your home feels calm." Calm, not impressive, not full, calm. That's the standard many Japanese families are quietly aiming for. Not a showroom, not a display of taste, but a space that feels settled and easy to be in. The objects in the room are almost beside the point. And notice something interesting. We're almost 9 minutes into a video about decluttering, and we haven't talked about folding shirts once. That's the point. Marie Kondo's method is about what you do after the clutter exists. Danshari is about why the clutter never fully forms in the first place. Western homes tend to operate on a different default. Things come in freely, and things leave only when there's a crisis, a move, a renovation, a moment of overwhelm. Danshari reverses that default quietly, consistently, and without drama. This last habit is the one that ties everything together, and it's the one that's hardest to translate directly. Japanese culture holds a deep value around considerate awareness of how your actions affect the people around you. There isn't a clean English equivalent. It sits somewhere between empathy and thoughtfulness, applied to everyday life. In the context of the home, this shapes how many Japanese families think about shared space. A cluttered home in Japanese culture isn't just an aesthetic problem. It's understood as a burden placed on everyone who lives in or visits that space. The objects you accumulate, the mess you leave, the disorder you create, these are experienced as things you're quietly asking other people to carry with you. That framing changes the emotional weight of tidying entirely. In Western culture, cleaning and decluttering are often framed as personal tasks, things you do for yourself when you feel like it, on your own timeline. The mess is your mess. In Japan, the home is a shared environment, and maintaining it is an act of care for the people you share it with. This is why Japanese children are taught from an early age, in school, not just at home, to clean shared spaces as a matter of respect. The daily school cleaning ritual, called soji, has been part of Japanese elementary education for generations. Children sweep floors, wipe desks, and clean bathrooms together, not as punishment, but as a practice of community responsibility. That habit doesn't disappear when they go home. Now here's the thought I want to leave you with. Imagine your adult children or your grandchildren walking into your home 20 years from now. Picture the room they step into. Would the space make them feel calm, like they've arrived somewhere settled and cared for? Or would it feel like a weight they'd quietly inherit? That question isn't about perfection, it's about intention. A tidy home, in the Japanese sense, isn't a sign of perfectionism or anxiety. It's a quiet expression of care for the people you love, including the future version of yourself who has to live in that space every single day. And that reframe, from "I should clean" to "I'm taking care of the people I love," may be the most powerful shift in this entire video. Because motivation built on care lasts longer than motivation built on guilt. So let's bring this together. Japanese homes stay uncluttered, not because of a cleaning method and not because of Marie Kondo. They stay uncluttered because of a deeply held set of cultural values about the dignity of empty space, the natural lifespan of objects, the importance of a protected threshold, and the understanding that a home is something you share, not just something you own. Ma. Empty space has value. The lifespan idea: objects are meant to be released, not stored forever. Genkan. The home has a protected threshold. Danshari. Refuse first, dispose second, separate third. Soji. A tidy home is an act of care, taught from childhood. None of these require a weekend project. None of them require buying anything new. They require a different way of thinking about the space you live in, one decision at a time, starting at the front door. The cleanest Japanese homes aren't the result of better cleaning. They're the result of better decisions before anything enters the front door.